Let's pull back the curtain on the steps and processes that happen to get textbooks into your classroom. Have you ever wondered the process that it takes to get a textbook into your classroom so that you can use it with your students? Today we're going to talk about that process and how we get those textbooks in your classroom ready for use. When an adoption is going to take place, there are three big entities that work together. You have the State Board of Education, who is going to be responsible for the statutory and lawful pieces of the adoption. You have the California Department of Education that's going to host and work with reviewers and the publishers to review the materials up for adoption. And then you have the Instructional Quality Commission, who will take the findings of the reviewers and make their final decision to present to the State Board. Each program has a panel assigned to them, and in the state laws, in Ed Code laws, it does say that the majority of the people in the panel need to be classroom teachers. That is specific so that we have expertise and people who understand what it's like to be looking at materials. We also allow parents, if they are qualified. We have administrators, district office personnel that are part of the review process. We also have something called a content review expert, which is a little bit different than a reviewer because they are actually in this case, mathematical professionals that are not teachers that can make sure that we are looking if the teachers or anyone else on the panel has a specific computational math question, they're there to assist. When publishers are ready to submit their materials for review, they look at Chapter 13 in the framework, which goes over all of the criteria that is necessary to get them approved. What they'll do is they will fill out something called a standards map, which means that they're showing and citations that show every place in their material that the standards are covered. And they will also submit something called an evaluation map. That shows all of the social content pieces and instructional materials aspects beyond the standards that they need in order to be able to be approved by the state and then the State Board and the Instructional Quality Commission. There are 5 different pieces of criteria that publishers and developers adhere to and that the reviewers are looking for. The first and most important is the gatekeeper criteria, which is the alignment with the standards. Obviously, we need each textbook that's on this approved list to encompass every single standard. There are 4 others that are program organization, assessment, access and equity, and instructional planning and support that we want to make sure are in the best fashion for you to use with your students. After reviewers go through training of what to look for and how to make citations on their own, they spend the next several months looking through the materials and finding all of that information. We then come back together for what we call deliberations. This is where the panels will get together and decide if a program succeeds and is on the approved list, if it passes, or if it does not pass. If it doesn't pass, then there needs to be ample proof as to why it didn't meet the criteria that it needed to meet. While deliberations are happening with each panel, the publisher and program developers of that particular program are in the room as well, where they are able to speak to maybe a publisher has that in their textbook and the reviewers didn't find it. So although they cannot change their materials after it has been submitted, the publishers do have an opportunity to say, no, actually this is in there, you just might have missed it. So once the reviewers have gone through, decided if a publisher passes or does not pass, it goes to the Instructional Quality Commission, then it goes to the State Board for final approval. Once there's a final list of textbooks, it is incumbent on the local districts to make the decision as to which textbook is best for their students. And we have a guide that can help walk you through that.